My name is Ruben Austria, and I'm the founder and executive director of Community Connections for Youth. And Community Connections for Youth is an organization that was formed for the purpose of building community capacity for juvenile justice reform. And when we say building community capacity, what we mean is that thinking about the system of youth incarceration that's existed in this country, it's way too expensive, it doesn't work, it causes harm, and the vast amounts of money that we spend on failing systems that lock up young people could much be better spent in the community. So the first one is like organize communities, youth and adults to really fight for rights. And what I heard was to do it looking back in history and saying, how did the people who came before us, to what level did they organize to get what they needed? So whether you're talking Black Panthers, Young Lords, Civil Rights Movement, whoever it is, like nobody got to where they were got by just sitting around hoping and waiting that like the system would give it to them. So our mission is to empower grassroots faith and neighborhood organizations to operate effective, community-driven alternatives to incarceration. What it means is simply that we get together the people in the community who care the most about young people, who are the best at working with them, who can connect to their families, and we form a network that we can plug young people into when they do get into trouble, so that they don't get into trouble again. But more than just not getting into trouble, that they're able to develop their skills, their talents, their dreams. They're able to become the types of community members that we all want them to.
Here with another grandmother who is raising her grandson. She's going to introduce herself in a minute. We're going to disclaim that she will not be giving any detailed information about her grandson as he is still going through some legal proceedings, and to protect his legal confidentiality, Grandma will be talking strictly to her experiences, helping him through some of his school situations that led to long-term suspension. So with that being said, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Demetria Frampton. I'm the grandmother of Desmond Scipio, 16-year-old at this time. But at the time that I was introduced to the system from this side of the fence was when he was 14, going on 15 years old. Okay,
so my first question is, when you were initially introduced to the suspension process, were you informed that you could have legal representation present?
Jose has never been in contact with any system, but we also support siblings and as a unit. What do you think about the work that we're doing as an organization supporting your mom and your brother?
I think it's great because it keeps everybody you're important to the community. Like everybody's doing something in order to keep yourself busy in the community, be a part of, and not be left out, alone, in a cell, stuck doing nothing. Instead, you're outside with the environment, communicating with other people.
So what do you think?
So I'm doing this particular video to discuss the connection between the schools, the urban schools in our community, near policy of long-term suspension, ultimately feeding the prison pipeline. Can you give me your insights to that, starting with Amelia?
I mean, from my work so far with CCFY, I'm seeing that most of the referrals that we're getting from young people ages 12 to 15, their place of arrest is the school. And then in getting to talk to them further, they're being arrested for theft. They're being arrested for fighting. Sometimes they're responding to the bully situation. Sometimes they feel like they were just there. They didn't necessarily have that much of an active role in whatever occurrence happened. And then when talking to the families, I'm reflecting that they were never brought to the table, and when the decision was being made on what to do after a situation occurred, it was like there was a situation that occurred, and the first thing that the school was doing was calling the police, and what that was doing was then young people were going to school, a place where they're supposed to, you know, receive education, they're supposed to receive support, they're supposed to receive that consistent, you know, adult figures that are supposed to be there for them, and what they were getting was an introduction into the justice system, which is an experience that unfortunately follows them forever.
Welcome. My name is Jeanette Bocanegra. I'm a community advocate for Community Connections for Youth. And I just want to, you know, I want you to share some of the concerns before coming into our program, Community Connections for Youth and Family United for Social and Educational Development. What brought you to the program?
What brought me to the program, my grandson had a suspension. He had a suspension of 30 days. He was in another school. So when he got back to his school, it was a difference. It's like he was labeled.
When he got when he was suspended from school, did you have any legal representation to
No.
explain to you the process of the suspension, the type of suspension that he received?
No.
It's really a question of what do we prioritize as a society? Do we just put money into systems that punish young people when they do wrong? Or do we put our resources into things that are going to help them early and help them often? So I think the whole system of incarceration in this country really has been a failure and a misplaced priority of resources. But what we do know is when we get these resources down to the grassroots, down to the neighborhoods and the people in those neighborhoods who really care about young people, then great things can happen. And that's what we exist to do.